and cables, and creating a bundle is virtually the same technique that we use to create the wire and the cable. Now, another thing that I think is a benefit to the wire harness design is the capability to read information in from an ECAD system. For example, I want to be able to create a wire or multiple wires and cable that understand components. For example, I have these two components and I have a couple of components on the engine, and I'd like to be able to read information into those components. One of the key things with that is, though, you have to be able to name the components. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify this part, and I'm going to open this part in Solid Edge. And then if we go to the Tools tab, you'll notice that there's an Assign Terminals command. And what this command does is it allows our customers to be able to go in and actually assign a component name to this part, and then also to be able to assign terminal names. And here I've just named the terminals 1 through 8. So when I read information in from an ECAD system, I can directly tell it to run the cable or the wires to the component name, and then which wire goes to which terminal. And it's a way that we allow our customers to be able to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this file up and go back to our design, and then I'm going to kick off this harness wizard, which is going to bring up this three-step dialog. Now you can see that the document format we can read from third-party systems, but for this I'm just going to use a Solid Edge sample. I've already generated a component and a connection document, and the component's name is engine.cmp, and the connection document, basically the terminals, is called engine.con for connection. So once the first step is satisfied, you can go to the second step. And from that information, it's going to tell you the unique identifier. There's a component name, and that's the relay that we just looked at. And I gave it a description of relay switch. It tells us that the assembly is already populated with this component. If you want to manually do this on the fly, we give you tools to assign the component and assign the occurrence right on the fly while you're in the assembly running this dialog. It also gives us the actual occurrence name, the actual part name that we're using. So once that step is completed, we go to the final step, which is basically the wire name and the from component to component, from terminal to terminal names, as well as the attribute, the color of the wires, and the actual cable attributes. Now, when the cable is marked in orange, it means that we need to select the correct size, and when you do that, it automatically picks up and changes those sizes for you. You can also, at any point in time, maybe select, for example, wire 7, and if I click on preview, it's going to show you where that wire will be created from and to. And then of course we have some connection options. With that, once I click on the finish button, it's going to very quickly generate the cable and the wires from those components. And there's the relay. So we created 3 wires from the relay into this particular cable that goes to different parts of our motor. So you can see the advantage of being able to read in from an ECAD system, how quick it is, and the tools that we offer that allow you to name the component and the terminals, whether you want to do it beforehand or on the fly. Now we need to make a few adjustments. So if I come down and use Quick Pick, I can select the blue dot, and I can make an adjustment so that the wires aren't crimped or pinched, I should say. And then I can come down and maybe make an adjustment here. The other cool thing is that once you make those kind of adjustments, if you want, you can also adjust the wires. For example, I can come down and grab the wire path, and you notice that I can adjust what the wire looks like. And once you're in the edit mode, you can just select the wires and make adjustments. And you will need to make adjustments on occasion. And it just kind of shows you the flexibility that Solid Edge offers in this environment. Now once that's done, of course one of the coolest tools is to be able to kind of see what this looks like. So I always like to come down and do a create physical conductors so that it actually turns on the cables, or the cable that was created, and the wires that come out of each one of the components. And very quickly we have a full harness created by reading that information in from an ECAD system. So at that point, again, I'm going to turn off the wires, and I can even hide all of the blue dots just to turn that information off, and you see nothing but the cables and the wires that we've created. If we go to the tools options, I think it's also nice for the user to be able to create reports, and we do allow the user to create from the harness environment harness report on the actual components that were used as well as the connections. So if I click on the components and click on the format, it'll see the information that's in this particular report. We do have options that you can go in and add more information to the right side, and the right side is what is actually displayed in your reports. If we cancel out, we can go to the connectors and we can view the same information, but in this case we're looking at the from component ID name and terminal name, and the to component ID and terminal, and what cable was used and the diameter. So you can see this information is valuable information that can be output if it needs to be. So this gives you a kind of a quick overview of the wire harness environment built into Solid Edge ST3, where our users can quickly go in and create wires, cables, bundles, and even read information in from an ECAD system to achieve their wiring goals within the projects that they're working in. So with that, this completes the wire harness demonstration.